Directors, Dean Research, Research Coordinator Humanities, esteemed senior faculties, today we are having a great day. We have how to make presentation, a session by R. Shankar. It's tradition and custom. We should get the blessings of our principal. I request for the principal for his initial remarks. For the Pavin artist.
Yes. Respected Professor R. Shankar, a resource person of the day, my dear directors of different blocks, the Dean of Research and Innovation, Dr. Suresh Pujari, the coordinators of research, Dr. Chandrasekhar Shetty, Dr. Vishans, and my dear members of the faculty and participants. And we are very happy to start a new venture at St. Aloysius College, a research cell coordinated by the three people, and the whole team is organizing number of such webinars to learn something during this time of pandemic. We are not sitting at home during this uncertain time and the frightening times. Rather, we are getting out of our doors and coming out and using this time to learn. There are a lot of challenges during this time, but I think we are also making these challenges into opportunities and learning from these challenges. So quite a lot of initiatives have been taken at St. Aloysius College. I'm proud to say that we have started free online certificate courses, and some of those courses were really very good, and the number of webinars we have launched. And our faculty are also busy with the Coursera courses, taking up Swayam courses, NPTL, learning from all these courses, and new vigor we can see in the institution with a lot of life and initiative taken by our own faculty. I'm really glad, and I would like to congratulate the research cell, Dean Dr. Suresh Pujari and Dr. Chandrasekhar Shetty and Dr. Vishans. Also, I thank all the directors for taking a lot of initiative and involving themselves totally during this time of pandemic and encouraging all the faculty to learn something new. Research is a very important component in any higher learning institution. We are a higher learning institution which exists from last 140 years. We have made a lot of innovative changes in the college. I think now the time calls us to work more in the field of research. We have created a research culture. We have got research policy of our own, and we also have a lot of activities for innovation and entrepreneurship and consultancy. All these activities go together. And when you say research, we need to do a good research, and not only doing a good research, and our findings have to be published. So yesterday we had a very good talk by Professor Vishalakshi from Mangalore University, and today we are having another talk on how to present our findings, not only in publications, also when we teach our students, or maybe these days we are preparing our video contents to prepare for our classes, how to make a very good presentation on PowerPoint that we are all looking forward to. Professor R. Shankar is known to us. He told me in the beginning that he was very familiar to St. Aloysius College. He was staying next to our institution, and his children have studied here. In a way, he's a friend to St. Aloysius College, and we are very glad that he is giving this session to us, and we are really looking forward to you, sir, and to this enlightening session. So thank you once again for accepting our invitation, and I wish all our participants all the best to this webinar. Thank you. God bless us.
Okay, thank you, Reverend Father. To know about R. Shankar, we have our research D, Dr. Suresh Pujari. May I request Dr. Suresh Pujari to introduce Professor Shankar. Suresh Pujari now.
Respected Professor Shankar, Father Principal and dear delegates, warm welcome to the webinar on how to prepare a good PowerPoint organized by St. Aloysius College, Mangalore. St. Aloysius College Autonomous Mangalore is a premier college contributing for the quality education and research since 1880. The research cell of our college organized a national level webinar on how to prepare a good PowerPoint. We are really privileged to have Professor of Marine Geology, Dr. Shankar, as resource person for this webinar. I am pleased to introduce Professor Shankar. Dr. R. Shankar worked on the Marine Zoology Department as a faculty of Mangalore University for 37 years. He is an MSc with first rank and a PhD from IIT Bombay. He is the recipient of National Mineral Award, Sir C.V. Raman Award, and Young Scientist Award. He was a Commonwealth Academic Staff Fellow at Edinburgh University, Scotland. He was also Chair, International Geoscience Education Organization, and Foreign Secretary, Geological Society of India, besides holding other positions. Dr. Shankar has published more than 75 research papers in peer-reviewed journals and has visited 26 countries for research, training, and Earth Science Olympiad activities. His interests are paleoclimate, environmental magnetism, marine geochemistry, and earth science education and popularization. Dr. R. Shankar was the chairperson, Geo-Host Committee, 36th International Geological Congress 2020. Member, Organizing Committee, 36th International Geological Congress 2020. Member, International Union of Geological Science Commission on Geoscience, Education, Training, and Technology Transfer. Chairperson, International Geoscience Education Organization 2014 to 2018. Chairperson, Advisory Board for International Earth Science Olympiad 2014 to 2018. Chairperson, Examination Board for International Earth Science Olympiad 2014 to 2018. Foreign Secretary 2008 to 2016. Counselor 2000 to 2008, Geological Society of India. Faculty, member at Mangalore University 1980 to 2017. Professor, we are really proud to have you as a resource person to this webinar. On behalf of the college, principal, and the research cell, I extend warm welcome to you, Professor. Welcome to you. It is my privilege to welcome our principal, Reverend Father Praveen Martis, to this webinar. Welcome to the directors of various blocks of our college. Welcome to Dr. Chandrasekhar Shetty and Dr. Vishant Pinto, coordinators of research cell. Hearty welcome to all the delegates of this webinar on how to prepare good PowerPoint presentations. Welcome to you. Thank you.
Professor Shankar, you can proceed now. Sir, please.
Yes. Many thanks, Dr. Pujari, for your kind words of introduction. I'm very overwhelmed. St. Aloysius brings back fond memories to me.
Sir, unmute, please. Unmute.
Okay, 1 second. It's unmuted. Can you hear me now? It is not muted.
We can hear you.
Yes, sir, we can hear you. Yes,
Can you hear me now? Okay. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay. So good evening to all of you, and many thanks, Dr. Pujari, for your kind words of introduction. Aloysius brings back fond memories to me. As father said, we used to live pretty close to your college. The whole family used to take a walk in your premises. And both my children went to Aloysius School, and I have paid several official visits to St. Aloysius. So overall, it's a very great feeling for me to be giving this webinar. I would like to heartily thank Dr. Richard Gonsalves, the Vice Principal of St. Aloysius, for the gracious invitation to give this webinar. Richard, it's very nice to see you as the Vice Principal from the times that I used to see as a student at St. Aloysius, at Mangalore University. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this webinar on how to prepare a good PowerPoint. And I hope that this will be useful to our MSc students and research scholars and young faculty members when they want to make presentations in conferences or in their respective institutions. So all of us do excellent research, but it's very important that this excellent research is communicated excellently and we make an excellent presentation of our research results. In this context, PowerPoint comes in as a very handy tool, a very effective tool to present our research ideas and other things. We must make use of PowerPoint in an effective manner. And I've seen people doing awful things with PowerPoint and they mess up the whole thing. Well, the main purpose of PowerPoint is to make a presentation in the academics, your research or for teaching purposes. But there are other uses as well. One of the non-academic uses is, I'll show you at the very end of the webinar with a slide. That'll be a bit humorous. Anyway, having spent several decades in the academics, I've had the opportunity of seeing PowerPoint presentations by my master's students in the classroom, their classroom seminars, research scholars making PowerPoint presentations of their research results in terms of progress reports and their PhD defense, faculty members giving talks, and scientists presenting research papers at conferences, seminars, and workshops. Friends, I would classify all of these PowerPoint presentations as awesome, average, or awful. To put it in a different way, terrific, tolerable, and terrible. So there's a range of PowerPoints that I'm sure all of you have seen, like how I have. And this webinar will be based entirely on my observations and what I feel should be a good PowerPoint. Okay. So what I'll do is in the next few moments, I'll show you sets of slides. Like the first set will be 1A and 1B, 2A and 2B, 3A and 3B, and so on. So one slide will be the awesome slide, and the other one will be the awful slide. So according to me, what is awful may not be awful to you, it may be awesome to you, but that's a different matter. Okay. So let's see these slides. Can you see the slide properly, ladies and gentlemen? Can you see the slide?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, okay. So how to prepare a good PowerPoint? So we start with the first set, that is 1A, and that is 1B. Okay, I keep repeating sometimes to help you. 1A and 1B. What is the difference? In the first one, there is just no title slide. A presentation must always contain a slide that contains the title of the presentation, the presenter's name, affiliation, and email address. It's very important that people know who you are, where from you are, and what is the title of your presentation. Then the next one, 2A and 2B. 2A and 2B. So what's the difference? The main difference is the title is written with a pictorial background in one, and there is no pictorial background in the other. So in my opinion, we must avoid pictorial background because you won't be able to read what is written very clearly. It won't be legible. But I must say that it's very tempting to include some picture in the background because that is where you have done your research. So it's very tempting, but resist the temptation of using a photo as a background. That's what I feel. Then 3A and 3B. What's the difference? Now in this one, you're giving the framework of the talk. And this is very important in any presentation. You must take the audience with you, and the audience will know what will follow what in your presentation. So they will not be left in the lurch, they will not feel left out, and they will follow you quite easily. So framework, and then audience will know the plan of your talk. The next set, it's again related to the framework. That's 4A, 4B. All that is 4B. 4A again, 4B. So what's the difference now? This no doubt has the framework slide, but the framework slide can be used at different points in your talk. When you start introduction, you can show like this. After you finish your introduction, you can show this way. So then you talk about the materials and methods. After you finish that, show this, and then you will start discussing the results and what they mean, and so on and so forth. So this way, the audience will know where they are in the entire framework of the talk. So the content slide can be used repeatedly at the start of each section. So the audience will know where they are led. Okay. Then we have the fifth set of slides, 5A and 5B. It's very obvious, it's the font size. Don't use, very small font size. They should be big enough to be read easily by your audience. Of course, one can use small font to hide spelling mistakes, and if you're not confident of a certain statement, you can use small font. That's in a lighter way, so I put some smileys there. So always use big font, big enough to be read properly and understood. Okay. And this is the sixth set of slides, 6A and 6B. What's the difference? In the second slide, 6B, many different font types have been used. Of course, PowerPoint, gives a whole range of font types, but you do not necessarily have to show that you're aware of all of these font types. In my opinion, just one font type is good enough, and it will make it very simple and impressive. So only 2 font types are used, and in fact, one can use only one font type. No need to use everything. Then we have the 7th set, that's 7A, and that's 7B. So looking at this slide, I'm reminded of the olden times when films started to be made in color, Technicolor. So some people make it very colorful, but I don't think it's really necessary. What's important is your research work, and that should be presented in a proper and effective manner. Adding color will not help. Look at this, it looks so elegant. Just two colors, one for the heading and the other for the text. And of course, there is no need to show that you know all the available colors in PowerPoint. Then we come to the eighth set, that is 8A and 8B. 8A and 8B. What's the difference? Here again, we've used only two colors, one for the heading and the other for the text. But the difference is in the text, which is in yellow color, I've used blue in order to highlight some very important points. Like it's derived from the catchment, it's correlated, it's instrumental, it's historical records, proxy rainfall data, and so on and so forth. So this way you can focus the audience's attention on very important points of your slide. Only two colors used, but important points highlighted in a different color. And this way it becomes easy to draw the audience's attention. Then we go to slide 9A and 9B. Friends, please do not bother to read what is there. It's not important. So how it is presented is what you should be looking at. What's the difference between 9A and 9B? And in 9B, there are bullets. And that is what is important. You know, all your points, your important research results must be put forth in the form of bullets or points. And that's why I think probably we call it a PowerPoint, because you put out your points in the form of bullets. Bullets or points are provided, and points, that's why probably we call it a PowerPoint. I'm totally against students or anybody using full sentences in a PowerPoint. The reason is very simple. See, the moment you put down full sentences, it is very tempting to read the full sentences. And I've seen people doing this. Great scientists, master students alike. What they do is they start looking at the screen and reading what is written, what is shown on the screen. And while they do so, they show their back and their backside to the audience, which is not very pleasant. So when you read full sentences, it is boring. At least the TV channel presenters are good. They make a good reading. Of course, they have teleprompt and all that, but still, they make a good reading and it's interesting. But I don't think they show their back or backside to us on the television, right? And in any presentation, it's very important to make eye contact with the audience. And that way you can connect with your audience, connect with your people, and make your presentation more effective. The moment you write down sentences, you show your back, eye contact is lost, and all that happens. So bullets or points are what are needed, right? Okay. Friends, that is 10A, that's 10B. Can you see any difference? In 10A, there are some words underlined in red color. That must give you a clue. In 10A, slide 10A, that's here, there are several spelling mistakes, whereas 10B is free of any of those spelling mistakes. So please, for God's sake, make sure that your PowerPoint does not contain any spelling mistakes, and this can be easily made out by the red underlining, as here derived, catchment, instrumental, historical, and so on and so forth. And friends, many people do not know that PowerPoint also has spell check facility. It's not only in Word documents that we can use spell check, here also it's possible. So from the beginning till the end, you can run spell check and look for corrections for spellings. Okay, 10A and 10B. Okay, we come to the next set, 11A and 11B. What is this? It's a table containing data. I am 100% sure that you're not able to read all the numbers because of the small font size, and who's interested in reading a data table when you're in a seminar or a webinar or a conference? Instead, plot the same data in the form of a diagram. Like this, the same data are now plotted in this diagram, and you can see clear patterns. All the stars are shown that way, and the dots are shown that way, so it has some meaning. And by plotting the data, you can show your audience what the pattern in the data is. And as I said, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So please, no data table, because no one has the time or patience to read the data. Having said that, I'll be using a table later, but that's another point. Now we'll come to the next set of slides, 12A and 12B. That's 12A and 12B. What's the difference? The difference is, you are putting forth what this diagram is all about for the audience to know. See, you may have seen, you may have prepared this diagram, you may have seen this diagram 1,000 times, but not your audience. So make it easy for them by mentioning what is it. It says biplot to distinguish the source of magnetic minerals after Oldfield 1994. It also says note samples are catchment derived, bacterial magnetite not present. So that's the field for bacterial magnetite. So what is different between 12A and 12B is that you're shown what this diagram is all about. And secondly, you have listed out the salient features. Okay. In fact, I would also say, explain what the axes are. That comes to the presentation part, but in this webinar, I'm only talking about the preparation of PowerPoint. So that's 12B. Then we go to the next set of slides, 13A and 13B. I'm sure this young lady standing there would not like to be seen. She will not like her to be seen in 13B. She would rather like it this way, slim and tall, right? So there is distortion of the photograph here. Often I've seen people distorting the figures, scientific figures, and that's not very correct because sometimes it gives a false impression of the data. How to maintain proportions? Drag on that corner, any corner of the diagram, then it increases or decreases proportionately. But if you start stretching there, it elongates. If you start stretching from there, from the side, it broadens. So let's avoid doing all that. Okay. So maintaining proportions is important. Then we come to the next set of slides, 14A and 14B. So I said, please don't use a table, but I'm using a table because I want to show something very important, not all the details in the table, but I just want to draw the attention of the audience to the average values. See, I'm not showing this, but I prefer showing this table where all the average values, that one, that one, that one, and that one, are shown in a different color. Not only that, the lowest values are shown in red, and the other ones are in blue color. So all average elemental values are shown in a different color, blue or red. Further, the lowest elemental values are shown in red. So this way, you can draw the audience's attention to important points even in a table. So it depends on your ingenuity. Ingenuity continued. In this next set of slides, 15A and 15B, it's the same slide that you saw earlier, but there is a slight difference. What is that? Certain numbers are made in a bigger font size. So highest values are in bold font. So this way, ladies and gentlemen, you can use a combination of color and bold fonts to convey whatever you want to convey. Okay. Then we have the 16th set of slides, 16A and 16B. A. Yes, you guessed it correctly. In 16B, there is animation. Whereas here, 16A, everything is projected at once. And if you're talking to an audience, I'm sure you're also reading the entire thing, all at once without listening to the speaker. I would rather do this. I'll project first the title, Can Magnetic Susceptibility be Used as a Proxy for Paleomonsoon? Then I'll put this one. A case is made out for susceptibility being principally derived from the catchment. Next, we will see if susceptibility is correlated with instrumental rainfall data, historical records, proxy rainfall data, and so on and so forth. So this way, when I projected only this much, you did not get anything else to read. You had to read only this. Now you had to read only this and listen to only this part of the presentation. And now this. See, this is the advantage of animation. These points are projected as you speak, and attention is focused on one point at a time. And this is very useful in any context, actually, classroom, teaching, or seminars, workshops, conferences. There are times, when I put a kerchief on the camera like this, so the audience will not see anything that is projected on the screen. When I wanted to speak about something else totally different. So these are all tricks that you can use to make your presentation effective. So that's about animation. Then the next set of slides is 17A. Okay, there is animation. 17A. 17B, what is there in 17B? Let's see. Oh, here also there is animation. Wow. Look at that. Animation can be of different kinds. But you don't have to do all types of animations. It's not necessary. I've seen people using coming things from the side, from the top, from the bottom, from the left hand side, right hand side, all directions. Oftentimes I'm reminded of the old Hindu mythological films wherein, for example, in a war, Pandavas will shoot one arrow and that will multiply into 10 arrows, and those 10 arrows will multiply into 100 arrows and go and hit the enemy's army. So this is what happens when you use all types of animations. So that's not needed. Okay. Then we have the 18th set of slides. Now I'll have to go and show you another one. See, this is 18B, okay? 18B, please note that there is white background here. And this is 18A, there is black background. So the difference is only in terms of the background. I personally prefer the black background because it is pleasant to the eyes. And white background is strenuous to the eyes, and if you have to look at the screen for long periods of time, you often feel strained and then you may take a short nap. But if you want to put your audience to sleep, then white background is good actually. So you decide whether you want to put them to sleep or you want them to listen to your presentation. Black is beautiful, it is said, and black is good. Okay, dark background is used, that's the difference. It's comfortable to view in a darkened hall. Now, most of the conference halls are dark, and it is good to have a dark background in your slides. I would also avoid gradient fill, picture fill, texture fill, pattern fill. All these are available in PowerPoint, but they will distract the attention and it's not very pleasant to the eyes. So, ladies and gentlemen, finally, let me say that these are all my suggestions. And of course, there is subjectivity. As I said, beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. So what I said is good, may not be very good to you, but this is what I feel. These are the take-home suggestions from my side. So make your own choices and prepare an excellent PowerPoint and wow your audience with your excellent research work. Okay. So I found this nice quotation. Perfection is not attainable. But if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence. This is attributed to Vince Lombardi. Okay. I would like to thank all the scientists, teachers, research scholars, and students whose PowerPoints I have seen and learned from during the past more than 40 years. So thanks to all of you for the nice material that I got. And ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your participation. Do you remember in the beginning of the webinar, I said there is one more use for PowerPoint, which is non-academic, and this is that. Have a look. So there's a communication problem. This is a couple. Have you tried PowerPoint? So I'd like to thank all of you for your participation. I wish to thank the college, Aloysius College, for the opportunity given. And if there are any questions, I'll be pleased to answer them. I would also welcome suggestions and comments so that I can improve further on my own presentation, on my own PowerPoint. Thank you.
Sir, thank you, sir, for a very nice presentation. Now, our one of two people wanted to ask a question. Mr. Naveen, please unmute yourself and ask question, sir.
Can we use slide number slides as well as footnote? Is it insert? Should it be there in all the slides?
Which slide are you talking about, sir?
No, in our PowerPoint research presentations, in the slides, should there be a slide number and should there be a caption? I mean, the footnote.
Actually, 1A, 1B, this is for your guidance. Okay, 1 second.
I refer to all the slides, sir. I refer to all the slides. When we make a presentation, should there be a slide number
Not necessary, because when you come to this, all the slide numbers are shown, right? That is slide number 78, 74. Not necessary.
Okay, sir. Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Ronald, sir. Ronald Nazrat.
Sir, now the Office 365 is come with some
Uh-huh.
Zoom options to highlight certain points. How good are they for academic presentations?
It should be good. Actually, to be frank with you, I bought a new laptop only about 10 days back. And only after that, I ventured into giving a webinar. So I may not be very familiar with all the new features, but we can make use of the new features and make our presentation that much more effective. So I won't be able to comment on that because I may not have used it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
And also, friends, what I presented in the webinar today is all about how to prepare slides in the PowerPoint. I didn't say anything about how to make a presentation, how to make an effective and impressive presentation, which will be another webinar. And if St. Aloysius wants it, I can always do it, but that's a different one.
Any other member wanted to ask any question, please? Okay. If there are no questions, I would like to express our gratitude to Shankar for sparing his valuable time with us. On behalf of the management, principal, directors from the research cell, all the college officers, faculty and students, I would like to express sincere thanks to Professor R. Shankar. Hope this webinar will benefit all our youngsters and researchers when they do PowerPoint. Thank you, sir.
It's a great pleasure for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.